Welcome to the next episode of the Cannabis Review. I'm delighted to be joined on this episode by Laura Ramos. She's the editor-in-chief of CannaReporter. Laura, how are you keeping today?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation, and good morning to everyone.
I'm delighted to have you on the show. You're one of the thought leaders coming out of Portugal at the moment, so we haven't had an expert on to give everybody a quick overview of the Portuguese market. Do you want to maybe give everybody a quick little overview of, I know you were one of the founding members of the PTMC and of CannaReporter. I believe you guys have a big event coming up with the PTMC this summer. Do you want to maybe give everybody a quick little overview of what's happening?
Yeah, sure. PTMC, it's in this third edition this year. We will have an event on June 16 and 17 in Lisbon, and then on October 26 and 27 in the Madeira Highland. It's an event dedicated to the scientific part of cannabis and also to the business and networking investments on the second day. So first day it will be more doctors, researchers talking about the advances with medicinal cannabis, and on the second day it will be more dedicated to the business, the industry, the networking, and we will finish the event with a beautiful party on a boat aboard the Tagus River and in the Madeira Highland in the ocean, just to party and to meet and to network and to relax a little bit, to celebrate.
Amazing. Sounds like one to put on the calendar for everybody watching this.
I
Can
hope.
you maybe give everybody a quick little overview of the Portuguese market and how everything stands over there? I know medicinal is legalized and you guys are pretty much a hub for cultivation in Europe. Can you maybe give everybody just a quick overview of the
Portugal,
Portuguese market?
right now we have 18 licensed companies. I don't know if my internet cut a little bit, but I will try to keep on. Portugal has now 18 licensed companies by Infarmed that are allowed to produce cannabis for medicinal purposes. Recreational, the adult use is not yet legalized, but I think it will be in the next few years. Nevertheless, the 18 licensed companies, we still have more than 80 that are awaiting an Infarmed inspection to be authorized also to produce medicinal cannabis. What makes Portugal the center, maybe the center of excellence to produce medicinal cannabis? The climate, the professionals, highly skilled professionals, and maybe all the environment in Portugal makes it the perfect conditions to grow cannabis. So I think Portugal will be the center of the world for cannabis. At least in Europe, it's already, I think.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. If you know what you're talking about, that it's interesting, the money and the investment that's already gone into Portugal. I think you're a couple of years ahead of everybody. Denmark has their ornamental flower industry, but I don't think they've got the scale that Portugal are growing to be able to deliver to the European market.
And I think they don't have either the 300 days of sun, which I think makes quite a difference.
They'll have an expensive electricity bill trying to keep up with the Portuguese sun. And
Yes.
can you tell me, is there Portuguese centered companies that have gotten a foothold early on, or has it all been North American companies that have come over and set up facilities here?
No, I think it's from all over the world, even Israel, Canada, United States, even China, Russia. I know that many countries are looking to Portugal as, as the door to enter the European market and the perfect place to grow cannabis.
Yeah, no, and the institution that oversees the industry over there is called Infarmed. Are they a governmental organization, or were they set up as an independent organization outside of government?
You mean Infarmed?
Infarmed, yes, excuse me.
Yes, Infarmed is the regulatory agency. It's from the government, and it's the health authority, and they are the ones who authorize companies to produce cannabis, medicinal cannabis. Then, if you look into other markets like hemp, it's another department. But yes, it's Infarmed.
Okay, yeah, because we've been going around the world and there's the various different regulatory councils that are popping
Hmm.
up over the place. So over in Portugal, you've got Infarmed deals with the medical cannabis side, and then
Hmm.
there's another hemp organization that'll deal with the hemp side. Do
Yeah.
those organizations fit underneath the Department of Health, or are they specific independent organizations within government?
No, they are from the government. Infarmed, it's part of the health ministry, and the GAV, which is the General Directorate of Food and Veterinary, it's a part of the agriculture ministry, and that regulates the hemp part.
Very interesting. And have you been looking around Europe now in terms of the next topic I wanted to talk about? It's logistics. We know Portugal kind of grows a good quantity, and the exports have risen in the 100% year on year
Hmm.
now. In terms of the logistics, is that something that you see a specialized company in Portugal dealing with the whole industry, or do you see that actually being a competitive space? Because I can imagine that the likes of some of the smaller countries aren't going to grow their own product. The logistics side of this in Europe is actually
Hmm.
going to be a big component of the entire industry.
Yeah, well, distribution, it's a big part of the business, and you need to have special authorizations to distribute cannabis. And I know that there is a big company doing this in Portugal, Logista Pharma, I think, and they are working on this side of the business. I'm not very into the. I know they are doing this, but and that you need a special license to distribute. It's not very easy. It's not like and everyone can do it. So
Yeah,
it's also a little part of the market that small companies are entering, like security, for instance. Some years ago, we would never think that security companies would be working with cannabis, and now we have security companies in Portugal organizing small conferences to give more information and workshops for security professionals to enter the cannabis market. And this happens with so many professions that before they couldn't even imagine one day they would be working with cannabis. So I think it's really interesting to see.
yeah. I think the more industries that start touching off the cannabis industry and realizing the money that's been generated there, the more normalized it's going to end up becoming in due course.
Yeah, yeah, and many will come because, as you might know, the industry is one of that will generate more employment in the future, more jobs in the future. So I think many people that they don't even think they could ever work with cannabis will in the future be working with us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. In terms of recreational legalization in Portugal, you were saying
Mhm.
that it's probably a couple of years away. What's your best guesstimate on when you'd be able to go, let's say, on a cannabis tourist to Lisbon and be able to enjoy, like New York has just legalized for September.
Mhm.
I was over in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago. It has dispensaries and all, and it becomes now a bit of a selling point for going somewhere on a vacation.
Hmm. Well, I think there's a lot of hypocrisy all around the recreational cannabis because in Portugal you can smoke anywhere. I mean, it's not. That's why I say it's hypocrite because you can get cannabis everywhere. You have many people trying to sell to tourists in downtown Lisbon. So I don't know. Legalizing would be just regulating, this market because it's happening every day, everywhere. And since cannabis was decriminalized, it's not a big problem if you are smoking cannabis or using cannabis anywhere. But the thing is that there's a lot of prejudice. People still think that the people who smoke cannabis are the drug addicts, and we need to break these myths and break the stigma. But this takes a long time, and I know from some sources inside the parliament that it's like the taboo subject. People don't want to talk about cannabis. They don't want to start discussing cannabis because there's still a lot of people that based their arguments on myths and psychosis, or it's like a gateway drug to other drugs. And we should have a serious discussion so we could regulate to minimize also the the risks, especially for youth people, because many people don't know that the cause for overdoses, the biggest cause for overdoses in the youth people here in Portugal is alcohol. So teenagers are dying from alcohol coma, and they wouldn't die with cannabis, But if you talk with deputies or members of the parliament, they are afraid they will die from cannabis, or they would get psychotic or schizophrenic. So I think that it should be a very serious discussion and informed discussion, not based in myths. But unfortunately, I think we are a little bit far away from this point. I really hope that this will happen soon. Maybe after other countries start to legalize in Europe, like Germany, for instance. I would love to see Portugal going in front, being the pioneers again, as we were with the decriminalization. But unfortunately, I don't think we are at that point, just because of prejudice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misinformation on the other side, and
Yeah.
there's people fighting to keep it illegal as much as people are fighting to legalize it. So it's a battle that I think will go on for another couple of years before we have a united Europe industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about before I let you go is a European industry leader. Just roughly, I don't want you don't need to pin your career on whoever you pick, but who do you see as having the best kind of companies at the moment in Europe? Is it Germany with them on the crisp of election? Is it Portugal? Is it Denmark? Is it the Netherlands? Who do you see as kind of being the leader at the moment in Europe with the
I
top
might
companies?
be okay. Sorry, it cut a little bit the connection with the internet. I don't
Sorry.
think I got the rest of your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what I was basically asking is which territory do you think has the leading companies in Europe at the moment? Is it Denmark, the Netherlands, Germany, Portugal? Everybody has kind of specializes in one specific kind of element of this industry. Who do you see as being has the best collection of companies at the moment?
I think Germany is ahead for obvious reasons, because in terms of medicinal cannabis use and prescription, and the market is more advanced in the final users, to the final users. In terms of production, I would say that maybe Portugal, because we are the ones that are producing the most. And last year, Portugal exported around 30 tons of cannabis, which is a lot. And this year, in 2022, on the first quarter, we already were over, I think it was over 20 tons. So we will maybe probably double or more than that, the amount of exportation of cannabis. So I think in terms of production, maybe Portugal is far ahead, but not in terms of cannabis market. I think Germany, or I don't know, maybe the UK, because they regulated the CBD now, they are far ahead Portugal, I think.
And of those 30 tons that got imported last year, how many, like, what's the percentage share of companies? Is there like one dominant company that exported 50% of that, or is it spread across, let's say, 10 or 12 different smaller operators?
I wish I knew. I asked this to Informet, but they don't say. They just say it was 30 tons, and they don't reveal who exported the most and to where. We know some countries they exported to, but some information they say they cannot reveal for commercial reasons. So we don't know who's exporting
Interesting.
the most.
It's been great to chat to you, Laura. For anybody who is looking to look at the CannaReporter, you can see the website is there at the bottom of the screen. I highly recommend checking out the journalism over there. It's top grade stuff and very informative if you're looking to learn about the European industry. Laura, I hope you have a great weekend, and
Thank
thank you very
you.
much for taking the time.
Thank you, Eowyn, and see you soon. Thank you
You've
for the
shown to me. Thanks
invitation.
everybody for watching.
Yeah.